Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Raimi Lukman. I'm one of the participants and also a presenter at the ongoing International E-Seminar under the theme Towards ASEAN Chairmanship 2023. I'll be speaking under Human Capital team. The focus of my presentation is titled Human Capital Development through Reinventing, Retooling, and Reskilling Strategies, Learning from 20 Multiple Cases. The detailed presentation has been forwarded to the Secretariat for Knowledge Dissemination. So what I will be presenting today is a miniaturized version of the presentation. The presentation outline is as projected. I'll be looking at the introduction and objectives, methods, result and discussion, and conclusion. With regards to introduction, I reviewed a number of extant literature on COVID, and all the views in the literature align to the fact that COVID-19 pandemic has destroyed jobs, rendered services obsolete, and rendered so many people irrelevant. So employers, employees are hopeless, they are helpless, and of course they are hapless. So the cash flow is down, and automation has actually been made imperative in order to ensure that people observe the rules of social distancing and working from remote location. But for people to be able to adapt to this new normal, to these new emerging technologies, there is need for 3 R: reinventing, retooling, and reskilling. In fact, human capital development professionals said before COVID, the skills gap in so many organizations was identified to be 60%. But with COVID-19, the gap has been widened to 78%, an indication that there is need for urgent reinventing, retooling, and of course, reskilling in workplaces. Whenever there is public health crisis and also economic recession or both, there are 2 perspectives: vulnerability perspective and resilient perspective. And what is vulnerability perspective? This is the commonest thinking and thought among people. In a recessionary period, employees and businesses, including the economy, are all exposed and prone to harm, and of course, externalities. So they are helpless and need intervention from government, international body to recover from the COVID-19. And that's exactly what is happening in different parts of the world. But in innovative, factor-driven society, knowledge-driven society, efficiency-driven society, they are moving from vulnerability perspective to resilient perspective. So, and what is resilient perspective? In a recessionary period, employees and businesses, including the economy, are all exposed and prone to harm. That's a fact. But innovative organization and economy often adopt and adapt new survival strategy, new coping strategies to be able to, turn pandemic, turn difficulties, turn problem to opportunities. And that is why as new businesses are dying, new ones are reimagined. As some people are losing jobs, some are getting jobs. As some people are crying because of drop in cash flow, some are smiling to the banks. Why? Because they develop resilient strategies to cope with the disadvantage and vulnerabilities of COVID-19 pandemic. The objective of this paper is to discuss the human capital development strategies of reinventing, retooling, and reskilling as effective ways of stimulating the economy, including saving jobs and keeping business afloat. So there are three specific questions that this particular seminar intends to answer. The first one, what are the conceptual definitions of each of the three R, including the connection? The second, what are the roles of tripartite stakeholders? In other words, the government, the employers of labor, and the employees in ensuring that the three R are properly entrenched in workplaces. And finally, what are the transferable skills and competency from 20 multiple cases reviewed in my paper? So this particular presentation is actually built on a methodology called critical literature review. I gathered 50 relevant articles on the topical issues, and they were critically reviewed following three-stage protocols. The first one, the 50 articles were gathered. The second one, the data were compiled in readiness for conversion. The third one, they were read, they were critically analyzed, they were integrated, they were synthesized. At the end of the day, some insightful information were documented. And what are the results? With regards to definition, the three concepts are mutually inexclusive. They have similarity and they have fundamental differences, but the three intends to do the same thing. One, save job. Two, keep businesses afloat. And three, keep the economy lively in readiness for post-pandemic era, and also in readiness for what is called workplace automation of the future. Reinventing simply means a personal initiative on the part of employee or the employer, or even government, to train the workforce, to provide cut-edge skills and competencies for them to grow sustainably in workplaces. Retooling, on the other hand, refers to a situation whereby you restructure your skill, you restructure your tangible and intangible assets to meet new opportunities and the need of the workplace. There are so many examples in the multiple cases that we have seen. So many organizations who are into automobile suspended the production of car and car engine, and they turned their factories and their plants and their machine into something that will support the production of life-saving equipment. Because it was observed that in so many clinics, in so many hospitals, they lack oxygen producing equipment. So some of these organizations who have the competencies to retool actually change the focus of their organization from automobile to the production of life-saving equipment. Some move away from industrial sewing to the production of face masks, nose masks, and so many other things that are needed by the economy to save life. And they retrain their workforce to be able to fit into this retooling strategy. That takes us to reskilling. Reskilling refers to the process of furthering education, learning new skills, acquiring new competencies by employees with the intention of finding one better job, pursuing new career, or entering new occupation. COVID-19 has forced so many people to go into new occupation. 10 out of the 20 multiple cases actually explicated cases of individuals who left their primary occupation for another occupation entirely, because the primary occupation were rendered redundant by COVID-19. And they need to pay their bills, they need to move on, they need to enjoy life. So they had to take that difficult decision of career reinvention, reskilling, and retooling. And so many organizations too also actually retool their business model. They retool their factory. They retool their plants to fit new emerging market opportunities and changing demographics in the industrial ecosystem. So what are the connections? They are connected from definition and of course from practicality. In the COVID-19 era, we suffer loss of jobs, collapse of businesses, redundancy, and new norms of working from home, telecommuting, automation, etc. We are imposed on individuals and corporate organizations. And they have to imbibe this forcefully without option. And to imbibe this, you need to reinvent, you need to retool, and you need to reskill. And after adopting these 3R, organizations are preparing sustainably for post-COVID-19 era, where jobs will be saved, where new jobs will be created, existing ones will be sustained, and also automation will drive the workplaces. That's the connection between or among the three concepts. And what are the insights from the multiple cases? I've mentioned some. We learn competitive aggressiveness, we learn proactiveness, we learn innovativeness, we learn creativity, and also we learn things that are very, very important, which is critical thinking and resilience. General Motors, Amazon, Brooks Brothers, JP Morgan, the Bank of America, and several other organizations actually demonstrated what I have listed. According to Lingori and Pitt 2020, they noted that proactive and resilient employers are those that adopt a mindset of opportunity recognition during period of crisis. And because of this particular mindset, it will help them to identify new opportunities and explore these opportunities in spite of losses of profit, loss of customers, and also the difficulties that employers are facing. So while others are lamenting, lead organizations are smiling to bank. And that is why in the quotation of Robert Schuller, I said, tough times don't last, but tough people do. So what are the roles of tripartite stakeholders? For government, the government needs to initiate policies to support and accelerate the development of new competencies and skills by the citizens in preparation for the changing needs of the labor market, as well as to boost their resilience capabilities. The role of employers of labor is to create personal career paths for their workers by conducting what is called skill inventory and need assessment. At the end of the skill inventory and need assessment, they will now identify the gaps and the different skills required by the workforce, and they will now mobilize the needed human and material resources to actually pursue these 3R of reinventing, retooling, and reskilling. For the employers, they need to create a personal career path, embrace self-development where organizations are not in support of their reinvention and reskilling strategy. They should upgrade themselves as indispensable brand in readiness to seek or take new opportunities that will emerge after COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you very much.